Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to this recap of Life After Lockup Season 3, Episode 28, Inmates and Playdates. Girl, this episode should have been called Shits and Giggles because all of these inmates were with the shits and I was just a tee-hee-hee giggling this entire episode. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and share on any social media platform that you deem fit. Let's jump right into this episode. So the first couple that we're going to talk about is Shawn and Destiny. Okay, so we finally get out of Destiny why she thinks that Shawn is just a big ass liar. And I completely forgot about this. If we will go back into our memories and remember that Shawn initially lied to her about his age and how many kids he had. Don't get me wrong, Destiny is with the shits for real. Destiny is an asshole. Don't get me wrong, I'm not giving her any leeway in that department because she could have just told him, you're a liar, I don't like liars, and I'm out of here. But no, she chose to use him, take his car, take his credit card, and just drive off like that's what he owed her. So we're at the courthouse. Brittany, Destiny's sister, is there waiting for her, and Shawn is there, and Brittany's having a little attitude trying to figure out why Shawn is even there. And I'm like, let this man stand up here and try to get his $50,000 back. I understand why Shawn's there, and it's crazy that Brittany doesn't understand why Shawn's there. And then lo and behold, we have Destiny who pulls up in a vehicle. And this isn't the same vehicle. This is a rented vehicle based on the key, and I believe that she drove off in a white car. So I'm a little confused as to where Shawn's car is because this was not Shawn's car. She pulls up and she's just like, hey sis, and her sister's like, where have you been? And she's like, I just needed to take some time to myself before I got here. And shortly thereafter, Shawn pulls his car around, he gets out of the car, and Destiny is pissed. She's like, I don't even know why you're here, but I'm gonna go in there and I don't wanna see you when I get out. So she goes inside the courtroom. 30 minutes later, she ends up coming out and she doesn't wanna tell Shawn anything. And Shawn is like, I need to know what's going on. Second of all, I don't understand how you're gonna treat your fiance this way. He still hasn't gotten it into his head that he has been bamboozled. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is over for him. He's trying to reason with her and she's just like, Shawn, get out of here. Don't come back. I don't care about seeing you. You're a liar and whatever happens, happens to you. And he's just like, well, maybe you've got some secrets that you need to tell me. And she's like, what secret, Shawn? I've been an open book. It says on Facebook that you're engaged. And she's like, when's the last time she looked at Facebook is the question. You lied about your age. Go and deal with your kids because you claimed to love them so much. When it came time to tell me about them, you did not tell me the truth. So get out of my face. I don't want to deal with you. And she basically tells him that he was a trick to try to get him out of her face. And I was happy that she finally just told him because her just driving off with his credit card and acting like it's okay is not okay. And then her sister's like, oh, wow, I don't even know what's going on. I'm like, you know what your trifling ass sister is doing. Don't try to act like you're all innocent in this because you are complicit in her behavior towards Shawn. Anyway, so after Shawn got that pie in the face, that was the end of their segment. I can't wait to see what he says next episode because I want him to eat crow pie and go crawling back to Kelly on his belly. I want him to crawl over some glass on his way to Kelly. Give her back her $1,000, then some. Kelly ought to play his ass too. Shawn is so stupid. The next couple that we're gonna talk about is Brittany and Marcelino. After Brittany and Marcelino spend a long day looking for Cindy, they have brought her back to their home and they've gone outside to have a conversation while Cindy goes to sleep on the couch. And Brittany has decided that they need to take her to Alaska because they said the last time she was in Alaska, she managed to get herself off the pills and get herself to be clean. Brittany's looking at Marcelino like, so I think it would be best if we take her to Alaska. Marcelino's like, at this point, Cindy is a non-contributing member of the family. And like, I'm gonna have to pay for this trip to Alaska. And Brittany's like, and he's like, look, I knew marrying you would be a whole package, but I didn't realize it was gonna be all of this. And she's like, and he's like, oh, this eyelash is about to come right off. It is like holding on by the hair of its chinny chin chin. And so he basically is just like, okay, fine, we'll do this. And I think this is the last straw from him. They're gonna take Cindy up to Alaska. So the next morning they have a conversation with Cindy about it. And then we find out about this person named Jackie, who happens to be Cindy's mother. And apparently Jackie is a mean little devil. Brittany says that once when she was younger, she spilled some water on her cigarettes and Jackie hit her in the face to the point where Brittany fell over onto the ground. Cindy is scared of her mother. She doesn't want to actually go up there and confront her. Brittany tells her that it is good for her to be able to get out her feelings about her mother because it's going to help her grow. And Cindy finally agrees as long as Brittany goes with her. Jackie has messed Cindy up so bad that Cindy can't even talk to the cameras about her experience with Jackie. She's like, my mother, you know, I just have a hard time talking about my mother. It's really hard for me. A lot of my issues that I have right now stem from my childhood. I understand. So the next couple that we're going to talk about is Sarah and Mike. Whoo, girl, here comes another one with the shits, and this is Sarah this time. So we come up on a scene of Sarah getting ready to go out with that same tired-ass jean jacket that she loves to wear to see Malcolm, and she's going to leave Mike, who has been staying with her for a week now, with the kids. And Mike is just like, well, I guess my wife is going to go on a little play date with her little pretend boyfriend. He's like, I'm the only person that understands what's going on here. She thinks she got a boyfriend. Malcolm thinks he got a girlfriend, but really, I just got a wife. Also, Aviana's like, who are you going out with? And he's somehow speaking to Aviana about Malcolm and Sarah, which I find to be super inappropriate, but he's going to do whatever he has to do to keep Sarah in his pocket and to keep her down. Again, remember, he's a vampire. You know what I'm saying? Mike is just a leech. He just sucks people's energy and their potential. So she goes out to meet Malcolm, and she doesn't know how she's going to explain to Malcolm what's going on, but she does know that she has to communicate with him about what's going on in her home life. So they get to the place and they're eating dinner, and all I want is the food because I'm currently on a diet. And every time I see food on TV, it just makes me sad. I need to go to Overeaters Anonymous. Like, I need to do something. Anyways, so she is talking to Malcolm just about everyday things, and then Mike calls and throws her completely off her game. And he's like, what are you doing? Where are you at? And she's just like, what are you talking about? She hangs up on him and then text messages him and then is looking real awkward and like she's in trouble. She's over here like, hey, yes, this is Mike. And Malcolm is like, okay, well then since he interrupted our train of thought, like what's up with you and him? And she's like, well, you know, so we was going back and forth to the hotel, you know, to see Mike, and I was driving the kids back and forth. And so I figured like, you know, he just come stay with me for the week and he can help me with the kids. And Malcolm's like, I'm sorry, run that back again. And she's like, so basically, so that I have to go back and forth. If I, you know, been down, you know, in the kitchen to help me, so watch out. And Malcolm's like, so he's living with you? Well, I mean, not living, man. Staying in my house, you've been down. Well, are you guys staying, like, what is the bedroom arrangement like? Oh, you're asking me not staying in my room. I'm not cheating on you. I'm just what's going on? I just got my time with that. So, my name what's happening. I'm I don't want to be you know, some ranch. And Malcolm the whole time is like, so what you're saying is that you live with him. But your choice, man, you know, I mean, choose between you and my family. And Malcolm's like, no, you don't need to choose between me and your family. Definitely not. I'll make the choice for you. Because it doesn't make any sense that you are living with your ex, not your ex, Sarah, your current husband, and the father of your 2 children. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave. And Sarah's like, okay. And Malcolm gets up and he leaves her. And he's just like, absolutely not. I'm not going to be made a fool like this. He walked through the parking lot. He's like, I don't even think Sarah understands what she's asking me to accept. And he gets in his luxury vehicle, which is a different luxury vehicle than he had the last time he showed up. And he drives off. And Sarah's just sitting there. She going ahead and pour his wine into her wine glass and just take a sip because she know that that's probably the last opportunity she's really going to get. And she's allowing Mike to step in between and block her blessing. She could have actually been with somebody of some substance, yet she chose this old vampire ass looking Negro. What kind of draw does he have? Is it because he calls her mama? Does that make her feel good? Girl, I was laughing so hard at Sarah's face when he walks off. And I was so proud of Malcolm for just walking out of this toxic situation. The next couple we're going to talk about, looks like they've added an additional couple, which is John and Christiane. Now, I don't know if you guys watched Love After Lockup last season, but John and Christiane were on last season. Christiane came out of prison. John was there with a limo and with this native like priest to be able to get them married. So John marries Christiane straight out of prison, and then they have about an hour to get to Dubuque, where her halfway house is. She's a little bit late, but they go on ahead and accept her. And then she ends up relapsing at the halfway house in Dubuque, which is a place that she's gone many a times. It's just a place that she's always done drugs at. Apparently Dubuque, Iowa is a hotbed of methamphetamine users and crackheads. Christiane was, I guess, on the run, technically, when she was kicked out of the halfway house. And so they end up calling John and telling him that. So he drives to Dubuque and drives around until he finds her, tells her he loves her, and then he drives her back to his house where her mother and her sister are staying because they, I guess, ended up being homeless somehow. And her mother, Tammy, has health issues, and her sister is just trying to get off of drugs as well. So John takes them in so that Christiane and her family can heal underneath his household. Christiane ends up messing that up by getting kicked out of the halfway house, and about 2 days after he finds her, she turns herself in, and then she's in jail. So she's been in prison now for 9 months. He says it's been a great help to have the sister around the house. Her name is Tara. Tara washes dishes, she cleans, and she just kind of holds her own weight being in that house. And Tammy is sick, and so John does what he can to help her. First scene we see is her trifling ass sister coming into John's bedroom talking about, where's my phone? Do you have my phone? And she's in a towel, girl, a towel. And she like picks up his phone and she's like, oh no, that's not my phone. And then she makes him get out of his own bed and pats him down to look for her phone. And then she saunters off back outside. So we know that there is something going on between Tara and John. And John in his confessionals is not admitting it at all. He's basically like, you know what, there are some sparks between me and Tara, but I really love Christiane and I want to stay, you know, faithful to her, because otherwise my vows that I made underneath the, you know, Native American law will be worthless, and that's not who I am. Tammy though, the mom, she sees that something's going on, right? But I think that she's just like, I'm in a precarious situation right now and I would hope that John is staying faithful to Christiana, but you never know. Things can be happening behind my back. Christiana calls John and tells him that she'll be out of prison in about a month, and for him to, you know, guard himself because she's gained about 35 pounds. And he's like, you know what, there's nothing wrong with that. It is absolutely okay. He feels like the fact that she's actually gaining weight is a sign that she's getting healthy and that she's sober. So he's having the conversation with her about it. And Tara, you know, she's in the kitchen with Tammy and she's feeling some kind of way because she's really trying to swoop in and take her sister's husband. And I really do feel like Tara has something out for Christiana, because when Christiana first came home and she was thinking about not turning herself in, Tara is like, if you do not turn yourself in, I'm calling the police. She was more worried about herself and what would happen to all the people in the house if they were harboring a convict. And as much as I'm like, yes, I understand that, at the same time, I'm like, that's your sister. So my question is what history does Tara and Christiana have to where Tara is being as trifling as she's being right under her mother's nose? So one evening, John comes home from work and he's in the backyard trying to mend a stupid rock fence. So Tara comes outside and she's smoking a cigarette and she's laughing at all the stupid things that he's saying. And he comes in and he sits on the porch and she sits next to him. And then she's like, oh, you had a hard day at work? And he's like, yeah, you know, it's pretty tough. And so she gets up and she starts to rub his back. And then she comes around the front and she straddles him and she goes in for a kiss. And he dodges that kiss. And he's like, I can't do this. Like, I know that you and I have, you know, some kind of energy towards each other, but I really need to be faithful to your sister. And she's like, but you don't even know her. You guys only spent 3 days together as a married couple. So like, you know me. I mean... And he's like, I know that, but I owe it to your sister to give our love a chance because I do love her. Tara's like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to sleep. And I was like, this trifling asshole. I'm pretty sure John is loving this attention, okay? I'm like, who has been giving John attention like this? He had to pick these two women who both have drug addiction. You could see it all in both of their skins and their necks. And they're both fighting over him, I guess. I mean, Christiana doesn't even know she's having to fight over her man. Whew. The trifling sister. So the last couple that we're going to talk about is Amber and Puppy. Now, this is where it gets good. This was a good old episode, okay? Because Puppy finally confronts Amber. It's the next morning, and she's like, do you remember what we did last night? And Amber's like, no, I feel awful. And Puppy's like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of you just getting drunk and being gay with me. Like, do you want to be with me or not? Because I want to be with you forever. And Amber's like, Where is this coming from? I have a hangover and you're trying to talk to me about all this. Like, I don't understand. Like, what are you saying? Like, what are you saying, Puppy? And Puppy, to me, I feel like Puppy said what she said. Like, basically, I want to be with you forever. Do you want to be with me? And Amber's saying that her and Puppy, I guess, had an understanding while they were in prison, but outside of prison, Amber has never been with any women, and she doesn't know if she's ready to make this leap. And when her and Puppy had these conversations, the conversations went more along the lines of, you and I will always mess around with each other because we love each other, but we're gonna have our mans. We're gonna have our menses. And that is not what Puppy wants, or at least that's not what she understood. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but Puppy starts to cry, and Amber just goes in and is like, what are you talking about? I love you, sounding like a straight up fuckboy. This entire conversation, Amber is sounding like a straight up user fuckboy. And I am so disappointed in her. Don't treat Puppy like that. Puppy doesn't deserve that. And Puppy says that before she went into prison that she only messed with men too. So this is new for her, but she knows what she's feeling. And Amber is just like, no, I think the only person that I'm really in love with is my ex-man, Sammy. And Sammy's in prison right now and he's coming out of jail. And then we see a picture of Sammy and he cute. So I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't exactly know what Amber's going to do, but she better figure out something quick. I think this is exactly what Puppy's mother was worried about, because she doesn't want Puppy then to go back to drugs or go back to a fast way of life because she's disappointed in the way that Amber is behaving. And I think Amber should take that into consideration too. Like, think about her friend. Why'd you parole at her mother's house if you wasn't planning on being with her? If you're not willing to show and give Puppy the emotion and the feelings that she wants, then you need to get out of her life and parole at somebody else's house. All right, you guys, so that is the end of this episode. This was a good old episode. Did I talk about Chevelle? No. All right, last couple that I'm gonna talk about is Chevelle and Quaylon. Girl, so Quaylon is sitting next to Chevelle and they're having a heart-to-heart about their relationship. And this conversation that they're having sounds as though they've had it already. They've had the real one before. This feels very staged, okay? Basically, Quaylon says, are we gonna let them win? Are we going to kind of prove everybody right? Or are we gonna get back together and be the couple that we were meant to be? And Chevelle says, well, I need to know that you are going to be the man that I thought you were because you really hurt me, so I can't jump just right back into this. And Quaylon's like, you know what? I know I did wrong, but I'm here as a man and I'm apologizing to you. And I want my family back and I need to do whatever I can do to get this family back. Then Maila walks up talking about somebody over there called her a baby and she don't like to be called no baby. And Quaylon picks her up, hugs her, sits her on his lap, and Chevelle says that just melted her heart right there, that she loves the way that Quaylon is with Maila. So she gets up to go talk to D-Mark, and D-Mark is over there with that straw hat that looks too big on his head, and he's pissed. He's like, what happened to what we were just talking about you being strong? As soon as he came over here, you just melted into a pile of, you know, chocolate chip ice cream. And she's just like, well, what I'm saying is that I have to give him another chance. And D-Mark is like, you don't have to give him another chance. And Chevelle's like, well, you know what? I am giving him another chance. And then D-Mark's like, look, I'm out of this. I don't even care. Like, whatever you do, what you got to do, but I can't be around that fool because I don't believe him. I don't trust him. We're never going to be friends. You know what I'm saying? If he wants to get ugly, I can get ugly, but I don't want to come over here and be ugly with nobody. But you know what? Life is ugly, so we can get ugly. And I was just like, D-Mark, go ahead and sit yourself down somewhere. Go ahead and sit your little self down somewhere, you old weirdo. Stop being weird about this. Like, let Chevelle run through the course again, and then you be family and just sit up there and support her. She loved this fool. Okay. And get you a better straw hat, sir. Get you a better straw hat. But I was feeling the vacation vibe. I see what you was going for. All right, so that is the end of this episode, you guys. Let's have a kiki and a conversation down in the comment section. Let me know what you thought of this episode. It was a good old episode, okay? It was a good old episode. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and thumbs up this video and share us on any social media platform you deem fit. Like, if you want to put this on Reddit and create a whole Reddit like group, do it. I support you. All right. Have a fantastic week, you guys. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.